Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Rangers Review morning briefing for Thursday, the 30th of December. I'm Derek Clark. I'm joined this lovely December morning by Joshua Barrie. How are we doing, Joshua?
Fine, Derek. It's really milded up in the Scottish Highlands, so not as cold as it was a few days ago.
Oh yeah, you're up north. Whereabouts are you?
I am in the Black Isle. That's where I'm north of Inverness. So nice part of the world.
Yeah, it's lovely up there. I've been up there before. Eaglebrae, there's a lovely little retreat up there. Absolutely class. Bewley is up there, is that right?
Bewley is up there. Yeah, I've got a family that live in Bewley, so it's been nice. Back down to the big city tomorrow, Derek. So just enough time to clear the air of city smog and back to it.
Back to civilization. Excellent stuff. Well, folks, if you're watching us on YouTube, I know that thousands of you are now, so thank you very much for your support. If you've not already done so, just hit that subscribe button so you'll never miss a video when we go live. A good morning also to Stuart Melvin, who's got in touch already. Hi, Stuart. Number of things to talk about this morning, Joshua. You've got a piece on the website this morning on the rangersreview.co.uk site. Remember, folks, if you've not already subscribed to there as well, just do so. Only £2.99 a month to support top quality journalism covering the club you love. And you've got a piece on the PSG wonder kid, Xavi Simons. He's a player that he's been in the news. Joshua has been linked with Rangers. Of course, he's managed. His agent is Mino Raiola, the infamous football agent, of course. It's a name that's not going away. Now, I think everyone would agree it would be a rather ambitious signing if Rangers were to pull it off. But you've done a scouting piece on him for people that maybe be a little bit unaware of who this guy is. Can you sort of enlighten us as what you found out?
Yeah, well, he actually made his first PSG start this month, handily enough. So I watched that back amongst a few other bits and bobs. He had a really promising UEFA Youth League campaign as well, 3 goals and 6 assists. But I guess that's kind of by the course because he's playing for PSG at 18 or in and around, so he's going to be technically a player that would have no problem playing for Rangers. The realistic aspect of it, I guess, is like another conversation. I don't think it's improbable. You look at the connection with Van Bronckhorst, the prospect of Champions League football next season, the obvious pull that Rangers has as a club. But yeah, as we like to do, we like to, instead of kind of regurgitating the same rumours, go and do something a bit more substantial. Look at the player, look at his technical ability, what type of player he is. So we've done that. What we found, he played from the right. He can play across a number of attacking positions. For the PSG youth team, he played a lot as a sort of false nine. Played from the right, as I say, for PSG a couple of weeks ago. He came infield a lot. If you think of how Scott Wright liked to really go around the defence at the weekend, for example, he was very much looking to come inside and combine. He played a lot of what I've called in the piece always looking for the third man, which, as explained in the piece, is something that Guardiola uses all the time with City. I think a Barcelona principle about the way that players are supposed to receive the ball, not receiving on the half turn, but receiving to always look for the third man run, whether that be in behind or coming short. So there was a couple of nice movements with Kylian Mbappe and how they interlinked. And I think throughout, they were playing against a 50-year opposition. It wasn't, but they were still playing a strong team with Verratti, Mbappe, and Sergio Ramos, Kimpembe, Icardi. But the thing that stood out, I think, for me, Derek, was the way that he looked so streamlined in what is a team of real superstars in terms of how he interlinked with them, how he kind of facilitated play, how he knew where to move and what his role demanded of him. So again, that's kind of par for the course in a way, because we know he's going to be really technically strong. But as we do with a lot of players that are linked to Rangers, we like to try and give subscribers a taste of what the players like. And so, yeah, if we were to summarise him, I guess he'd be someone that looks to combine instead of taking players on 1v1, who's comfortable in lots of different spaces in the pitch. And as I say, is really proficient in using those third man runs and interlinking with players in the middle of the pitch. Technically, as you'd imagine, very, very astute, playing for PSG at 18. So who knows? I mean, it is a very ambitious link. He's obviously involved in a political negotiation for his contract because he'll be wanting first team football, but he's also in this strange position where he's got, I think, almost 4 million Instagram followers. So he's already a big name, even though he's hardly played any first team football. So yeah, certainly one to watch. But if you want to know about what type of player he is, then head on over to the site and hopefully we've done justice.
Yeah, absolutely. Stuart Melvin gets in touch as well. What's the right winger from Anderlecht like? This is a boy that was linked with Rangers in the past couple of days. The boy's name is Francis Amazu. He plays for Anderlecht in Belgium, of course. 22-year-old right winger. Now he's one, I believe, of a number of players that is going to be linked with Rangers. And over the course of January, you'd imagine, Joshua, it's just the way of the world. When we reach the transfer window season, there's going to be a number of players linked. Even though a journalist down in Sheffield, he says he was scouts at Rangers watching Sheffield Wednesday, and I tried to get a bit of information out of him, and he just joked Josh Windass, which should be a turn up for the books if he was to return to Ibrox, that's for sure. But this is just going to be par for the course, isn't it? You expect names to be linked with the club in January. It's just we're reaching what we call silly season at times as well. But it was interesting. Van Bronckhorst did say, I asked him in a press conference recently about he was linked with the boy from Bologna. Skov Olsen, and they said he doesn't comment on any players. He'll just comment when they're holding that red, white, and blue scarf aloft in Ibrox. And he says a lot of the reports are false as well. A lot of the media reports that you see. So it's just one of those ones, isn't it? You need to take it with a pinch of salt. A lot of the links,
and that's why we're not going out, do something like that with Xavi Simons when instead of, I guess, regurgitating stuff. Go and look at the player, do something different, do something interesting. And the reality is, I guess, in terms of links, or if you could say Rangers have been watching players, Rangers will watch thousands of players, as any modern club with a scouting setup as Rangers have will do so, and will be interested in lots of players because I guess, not having experience in it, but I guess so much of signing a player comes into their availability at certain given points in time. So you have to have such a big pool because players will have different situations with their clubs. So we'll do that throughout January, try and get as many scout reports out as we can to keep a track of all these players. And you do get a sense of the profile of player that Rangers are looking for. I've got no doubt that Van Bronckhorst will want to bring in a few players over these next couple of windows that would make up more of his squad, because let's not forget, Derek, this squad was not built for the Van Bronckhorst style. That sort of, he's done very, very well to work with what he has, even though he has some fantastic players in there so far to this date. So yeah, we'll see. But as you say, lots of names will be linked. I'm sure Rangers are watching thousands of players, as is any club, and we'll try to keep you up to date with it to the best of our abilities.
Yeah, I like this comment from Alex, Joshua. Since when did Rangers start signing players based on how many Instagram followers they have? Should stay clear of these players. Zero team ethic and usually indisciplined. Not what we need. So yeah, Alex making his point clear as day there. There was another comment that came in from James Skeen. What about the rumour of an American centre half? This sort of surfaced yesterday, Joshua. The boy that plays for New York City. Apparently Rangers eyeing up a loan move for James Sands, a 21-year-old centre-back. He plays actually under former Celtic boss Ronnie Dyler in America, already been capped by the United States. I could see Rangers looking at centre-half options. Joshua, what do you see? You just based on they are pretty light in that department, I would say, at the moment. Of course, we've got the ongoing Connor Goldson contract situation. Philip Hollander is coming back from injury, and Nikola Katic looks like he's on loan for the rest of the season. Leon Balogun's not back yet, and he will be going away with Nigeria for the African Cup of Nations. It makes sense to look at a possible centre-half addition.
Yeah, it does, and me and Johnny spoke about this yesterday morning. Given the indecision long-term over the centre-half position, it might make sense to bring someone in who could either be covering this 6 months or use this 6 months to better prepare themselves, as Scott Wright did, and Jack Simpson less successfully. Will be interesting to see what happens with Simpson. He's obviously not had a chance yet under the new tenureship. So I could see centre half being something that if it's dependent on the players that Rangers are looking to replace Connor Goldson, presuming that Connor Goldson does leave Rangers in the summer. If they're available at this point in time, obviously you've got the continuous links to John Souttar as well, who's been, has some comparable traits to Connor Goldson. Obviously, he's played more of his football in the back threes compared to a back four. So there is some differences, and I'm sure the club will be looking into, but they'll be looking into Souttar because of his homegrown status, knowing the league, now Scotland international again after lots of injury trouble. So I could see centre half being an area absolutely that they look for. Sands, I looked very, very quickly at him yesterday, and as you say, looks promising. I just looked at it's quite good progressive passing numbers, so passing through the pitch, and certainly when Rangers are looking to replace Goldson, if indeed he does go, the ability for someone to really dictate play from the back, I think will be really, really important in what they do. It's why I don't think Niko Katic really comes into the question in terms of being a replacement for Goldson in that position. So certainly centre half is one to keep an eye on over the next few months.
Yeah, absolutely. Good morning, incidentally, to Aldo, who got in touch. He says he's making pancakes this morning. He's making me hungry, that's for sure. Let's a comment has come in here from Alex Kelly. If an £8 million bid came in for Hagi, should we accept? Ianis Hagi is an interesting one, Joshua. For me, it was good to see him playing more centrally in the last game. I think everyone can see that's his best position as opposed to wide on the right. Rumours about clubs making moves for the Romanian hasn't gone away since he's basically been at Ibrox. I think there's always been murmurings that clubs are interested in him. By all accounts, he's very happy at Ibrox. But if an £8 million bid came in for him, would that be something you'd be thinking about?
I think 8 million's isn't enough for Hagi, given the price that Rangers bought him for, and the kind of almost recovery of the market post what's supposed to be post-COVID in football terms, but obviously isn't.
Yeah,
it's a really interesting debate with Hagi because I could see certainly in home games against the likes of St Mirren, Hagi and Aribo playing together in that position. I think there's also a justified argument that doesn't give you the right balance overall. But then if you've got your fullbacks doing a little bit more defensive work, as we've seen, then that can certainly facilitate that. But the question is with Hagi is where does it leave him for the rest of the time? I think you're right, wide right, the balance hasn't quite worked. Although sometimes I think he's done quite, he's had quietly effective games in terms of his movement to open up space for Aribo, certain passes here and there with his two-footedness that show off the benefit of that trait. But I don't see him as being the long-term answer wide in the right. And I think the reason for that is you look at how often he's been asked to spin him behind and run off the shoulder. And although Hagi's quicker now than he was when he came into Ibrox, that's never going to be his game. I think he wants to really be, although Aribo again is a different, the role that he's fulfilling is probably different to number 10 role that Hagi would want to fulfill. Hagi, I guess, wants to be that focal point in terms of a link man as a number 10 in between, in a system like the one that Rangers are playing. So it's a really tricky one because obviously there, Derek, as well, you've got a really valuable asset. Again, from Rangers' point of view, if they could sell someone that would kickstart that player trading model but not harm their first team prospects too much in the short term, that would be preferable for all. Also, you look at Hagi last season and he had a much better goals and assists and goal scoring contribution record. He was top of the expected assist chart. It's taken Aribo and Kent till their third seasons really at Ibrox to find their top level. You think of Kent last season, Aribo this season, maybe it takes Hagi just that little bit more time. But certainly I don't think it's improbable that he would be the player to leave given the change in management. I think it's the system that Van Bronckhorst is using, more isolation, more one-on-one battles, quicker build-up play at times. I think that suits Hagi less than playing as one of the 2 number 10s under Gerrard.
Yeah, Hit Sensors gets in touch and says Hagi isn't going anywhere as Daddy is playing for the Rangers 11 in the 150th year celebrations, and that leads us nicely on, Joshua, because I wanted to speak about this Legends game that's taking place to mark Rangers, of course, their 150th anniversary. Some big names from yesteryear coming to Ibrox on March the 26th. It's a 3 p.m. kickoff, folks. And some of the players are going to take part in this. Giovanni Van Bronckhorst, for a start, is going to play for Rangers once again. Roy Mackay will take part in the game. He'll play for the World Legends side. He'll be joined by the likes of Roberto Carlos, Xavi Hagi, of course, Robert Pires, whereas Luis Figo as well, I forgot to mention, former Real Madrid, Portugal and Barcelona star. Luis Figo will be coming to Ibrox. And Rangers, some of the players lining up for the Light Blues include Paul Gascoigne, Chris Boyd, Michael Moles, Sasa Papac, and Nikica Jelovic. Certainly something to look forward to, Joshua.
Yeah, and you'd imagine maybe some more names will be mentioned in time, but very exciting, Derek. Obviously, I had a nice little interview with Luis Figo yesterday on Rangers TV as well. And these days, you'll remember the last time this happened between Liverpool legends and Rangers legends. Just an enjoyable day and a chance to see Gio don the Rangers blue, which is no bad thing. So looking forward to that, and I'm sure we'll see a few more big names mentioned. I seen someone, I'm just trying to think who it was on Twitter yesterday, make a hilarious comment about let me just find it. It was West End Blue Nose. I want Papac, Coelho, Weir, Hutton and Hemdani playing part of the bus 4-1-4-1 against Pires, Figo and Hagi, which I thought was quite humorous. I'd love to see Hemdani. Absolutely love to see Hemdani back out there. But Papac, Jelovic, it will be some great names. Boyd up there. Gaza, obviously. A really great thing for the club to do to celebrate their 150th anniversary, and I'm sure it will be a thoroughly enjoyable afternoon.
Yeah, if you fancy going along to this, folks, just head over to the Rangers website. The ticket information is on there. We've also got an article on the Rangers Review site where they have a link where you can go and buy tickets for this game. So I'd very much urge you to go and do so. It certainly will be an afternoon to remember. I think that I was at the last one where they played AC Milan Glory, where all the former AC Milan legends played, and I think Ali McCoist scored the winning goal. He's still got it, McCoy. So it'd be good to see him in action as well if they can persuade. I don't think they'd have to do much persuading to get Ali back out there. Stuart Melvin jokes Kerkar and Mladenovic too. I think they'll be at the very end of the phone list, that's for sure. But it'll be interesting to see what players will be taking part in this game, and certainly something to look forward to, and very fitting to mark the 150th anniversary of the club. It certainly is a cracking event, that's for sure. Okay, that'll do us there. Thanks to everyone for getting in touch as ever. Remember, if you haven't already done so, if you're watching us on YouTube, just hit that subscribe button so you'll never miss a video when we go live, and also to subscribe to the Rangers Review site to support top quality journalism covering the club you love. Just £2.99 a month. Just head over to rangersreview.co.uk/subscribe. Okay, we'll be back tomorrow for our Hugmanay show, but until then, enjoy the rest of your Thursday.